Hello, welcome back. We're on our fourth episode now of our face-to-face series. I'm delighted to be joined by Lewis Chan, who was the director of Stationery, a winning film from our 2019 competition. How are you doing?
I'm very well. I'm very well. Good to see you. Been a little while.
It has. All those months going on in November now. So much has obviously happened since then. Sort of, how have you been coping with lockdown? What have you been up to during that period?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Well, personally, I was working with the BBC Writers' Room, developing a bit of content just as things sort of started to kick off. Then I went traveling in Malaysia for 3 weeks, and just by the skin of my teeth managed to get back into the country where all the other flights were saying cancel, 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 cancel. So my one into Heathrow was one of the last ones. And since then, yeah, just doing a lot of writing, working on a feature right now. And yeah, just sort of taking time to reflect. I think that's what a lot of people have been doing right now, sort of prioritizing what's important in your day to day, and
Yeah.
sort of coming to terms with a new existence.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a lot of questions, let's say.
That's good. I think, do you know what I mean? A lot of the people that I've spoken to, or filmmakers, directors, producers, sort of during this period, have used it as an opportunity to
Mm,
work on some of the previous scripts or ideas that they were putting together previously. So, I mean, it's great to
absolutely.
hear that you've done the same and got a feature in the works as well, and that you got back from Malaysia before.
Yeah, that was a scary one. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was surprising because it was literally the day of lockdown. It was well, at least the day of lockdown in Malaysia. April 19th was the day that they said no more inbound flights. You can get out of the country, that's fine, but otherwise it's going to be a bit tough. So yeah,
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, I mean, I touched on your winning film from last year's
yeah.
competition, Stationery. I mean, do you want to give a bit of a flavour for the film, just a bit of an overview for everyone watching?
Sure, sure. So, Stationery is a film about a guy who goes back to his old neighborhood after graduating from university, and he's got a bit of a troubled past, and he's essentially come back to confront one of his childhood best friends, who's a drug dealer. But he sort of sets it up almost like just a little meeting, a little catch up, but it turns into a bit more of an intervention. And it's almost like the two lead characters, the older sister and this main character, fighting over the younger brother's future, so to speak. So, and it all takes place in a parked car, and the little brother sort of doesn't really know what's going on, and there's a lot being said underneath the words, and hopefully lots of tones of grey as opposed to black and white. Hopefully.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a great watch. I mean, I was lucky enough to watch
Thank you.
it a few times, to be honest, sort of in the build up, and it was a well put together film with a great storyline as well. So
Thank you.
I just wanted to sort of look back to the competition awards night in November, and
Hmm.
I mean, we're running another competition at the moment, as you've
Yeah,
probably seen online. So
absolutely.
changed the format around a little bit this year with different categories. But I mean, why did you enter the competition, and almost what did winning mean to you? I know that you haven't used the prize just yet. Obviously,
Yeah,
November and then the period that followed it didn't allow.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I heard about the competition in the run up to when we were about to release our film. I think you guys were doing quite a lot of promotion for it, obviously. And I think I clicked on one of your videos and I saw a bunch of people, namely my producer on my film, whose face popped up from last year's edition. And so I was like,
right.
oh, and then I asked him about it. He was like, oh, you should definitely apply to this. And the more I saw faces that I recognized, fellow filmmakers, people I know, people I've been on talent labs with and stuff in previous years, I was like, oh, this looks like it might be a good fit. And yeah, so we entered, but we got quite lucky because we just wrapped the film just before sort of the submission dates opened, so it was quite serendipitous in the end. But yeah, no, it was a great night. It was amazing. It was really friendly, I think was the main word that sort of came
Yeah,
out of it. I met you, sort of right at the door, and you introduced yourself, which is good because sometimes you don't meet the organizers till about halfway through the event,
yeah,
and again, seeing other filmmakers that either I already knew or had never met before, who again were very sort of friendly, and everyone was sort of wishing each other good luck, and you didn't really know what was going to happen. But yeah, no, just a really good vibe in general, and it seemed like you guys seemed to really care about the films, which was nice to see.
yeah. No, definitely. I think it's something, and I'm glad that came across. I think it's something that the team well, across the team, quite big on. We are quite passionate. I say quite passionate, very passionate about short film.
Yeah.
That development from as soon as people have either finished film school or university or whatever it may be, whatever their learning process is, and then coming out and getting filming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, is very important to encourage. So I just wanted to touch on, obviously, I mean, the networking you mentioned there was a great point of feedback for us sort of post the competition. So I think we've got a couple of ideas around what we can do this year to keep that networking, because it is important, as you say, you know what, to speak to other filmmakers, producers, directors, and see how they're getting on, how they're finding things, and share contacts, really, which is something that we're big believers in as well within the team. So I mentioned you haven't got round to using the prize yet.
No, unfortunately.
I'm sort of guessing, I mean, maybe with the feature, but I mean, in terms of projects in the pipeline for that prize, have you got any, is there anything that you can give us now, or is it a bit too early to share anything?
No, there is. There's 2 or 3 projects. I mean, there's one that I've been writing with my brother, who's my comedy writing partner, which is sort of a separate side of the stuff that I do, the much less dramatic side. Let's put it that way. And we've got some sketches which we've written, which we were sort of pitching to the BBC, which we want to get at least, maybe, well, ideally the best one made. And so that could go towards one of those ones which we think would be a really good fit for them. So that's one idea, and the other one would be to go towards a short film version of the feature film that I've written.
Right.
So that's a very different project. It focuses on mental illness within a dysfunctional family around the turn of the millennium. So that would be one which I think they're both very interesting projects, obviously, to me, but I think they're two different avenues you could go down, which either way you're going to make something good. So
yeah,
I think that would definitely be something that we would use the prize towards, for sure. So we're kind of saving it for now.
Yes, no, that's good. I mean, you've got a couple of projects in the pipeline, which is the main thing. That's great. So, and obviously, yeah, as you need to get those prizes, it's quite a straightforward process. So yeah, just get in touch and we can hook you up with the different partners that have helped us with the prizes, and obviously the cash prize from us as well.
Okay.
So just to wrap this up then, I don't know if you've seen in the other previous face-to-faces that I do, sort of the question I ask at the end is that unenviable question, and it always stumps people a little bit, but I mean, if you had to give fellow producers, directors, filmmakers a piece of advice, or what's the best piece of advice that you've received sort of in your career today to share with everyone watching?
Oh wow. I feel like I'm in a 6-year-old's body with elbow patches right now, passing on some well-learned advice that I've learned over the decades of my career. I think the best thing that someone's told me is just go out there and try and find your own voice. You can try and fit your mold to these different film funds that you apply to, of trying to sort of pander towards maybe what you think their agendas might be, and things like that. But honestly, whatever's going to happen, whatever you're going to create is going to be something which isn't really authentic, and you're not going to win. So I think really just try and develop the voice that you have as best you can. Take time, don't rush it. And when you've come out with something which you really believe in, you'll probably know it. So it's cheesy, doesn't it?
That's a brilliant piece of advice. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there we go. Sort of filmmakers, producers, directors. A really solid piece of advice there from Lewis. So, I mean, thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you. Likewise.
For anyone that's
watching, see you.
If you'd like to follow Lewis on our socials, we provide those. They'll be on the screen now. Sort of any closing words from you, Lewis? Or
I'll be in touch soon once I figure out what we're going to be making. Hopefully, once things go relatively back to the new normal, as people say. But yeah, no, thanks again for your time, and I look forward to seeing who the new winners are in 2020.
Thank you very much. All right, take care. Cheers, Lewis.
See ya. Take care.
Thank you.